Hey, this is the live streaming to talk about what's the difference between child care and child warehousing. Believe it or not, a lot of people do not know the difference. So at this time, come in, share this out to your friends to let them know that the Wildflower team is convening and we're going to be having this conversation. I'm going to share this out with some folks and hopefully they can make it. All right, you do the same. I never ask anybody to do anything that I am unwilling to do myself. So that's why I'm sharing this out so people can join. All right, I think that's it. Let me see. All right. All right. Let's see. Who else? Okay. I guess that's it for now. So yeah, I'm here to talk about what's the difference between child care and warehousing or even hoarding. I can't say it's surprising, but it is kind of saddening to my heart that so many people think they know the difference, but their actions show that they do not know the difference between actually caring for a child or caring for children versus just warehousing or hoarding them. In my experience, I didn't really know the difference until I became an adult myself. Now, as an adult, learning what it means to be trauma-informed and child-centered made it very clear that there's a big difference between child care and child warehousing. So if someone is trauma-informed and truly understand what child trauma looks like and how it shows up, and they are wanting to care for a child in a way that is helping them through their trauma, helping them learn coping skills, how to deal with said trauma, that's care. That's like genuine care for a child. And I'm specifically talking about as far as foster care and adoption, whether that be through the foster care system or through private agency. Now, this question could also be asked in reference to like daycare and schools and things like that. But I'm specifically speaking to foster care and adoption. Do we really know the difference between child care and child warehousing or hoarding? Now, I ask this question because me growing up, for those of you who don't know, my name is Marika Goolsby. I'm a former foster youth, meaning I was a foster care kid when I was a youngster, and an adoptee, meaning I was adopted out of the foster care system. Now, when I was a kid, I know my adoptive parents, they started out as my foster parents and later became my adoptive parents. They were more leaning on the warehousing side of things more so than child care, because my emotional needs, my psychological needs were not really tended to. I do believe there were some small attempts here and there, but that was mostly out of guilt and shame. And yeah, I did not grow up in a child-centered home at all. I grew up in a home that was more on the warehousing side of things, meaning let me collect as many children as possible for my needs for what I want to be happening. Not necessarily like, let me provide a safe, loving space for children while their biological family is getting their lives together so they can be reunited. And they were also friends with other foster parents who kind of maneuvered in the same way. Like, I did hear conversations with the question of, how many checks do you have, referring to the children. How many checks do you have? Oh, I have 4, I have 5, oh, we're moving into a bigger place so we can get 2 extra checks. Anybody who is a foster parent that is looking at the children as checks or not providing child care but warehousing. Let me find another space in this house where I can fit a toddler bed so we can get another one. These are the type of things I grew up hearing as a youth. So I think it's important that everybody is clear that if you are providing child care for a child that is basically displaced from their family, removed from their family for whatever reason, there's going to be sadness, there's going to be grief, there's going to be anger, there's going to be confusion. And if you're signing up to be a foster parent, it is your job to say, okay, little kid, I know you're sad that your parent is not here right now, but I'm here and I'm going to make sure you're okay. And, you know, if you feel sad, you can talk to me about it. You know, we can hug it out. We can write letters, you know, and teaching them coping skills on ways to deal with their maternal, even paternal separation trauma. But folks that are just into warehousing usually do not care about separation trauma. They just want to make their life as easy as possible so they can get paid and not be annoyed by the kid or children that are supposed to be in their care. This is the situation I was in. You know, as long as I was doing what pleased them, that was spot on. But as soon as I was ever sad or angry or confused about, like, okay, so when am I going to go back with my mom? It's like, what? Why would you ask me something crazy like that? I'm your mother now. I'm the one taking care of you. I'm the one doing all the hard work. And you're worried about somebody who's not even here. So that was the treatment I got growing up. And it was clear these people were into warehousing children, not care. Just looking for checks, period. And they were friends with other people in the system that had the same mindset. And I'm here, finally, 50 years old, finally able to talk about the trauma that I lived through, as it's taken years and years of therapy, years and years of all types of modalities and healing to get to this space. And I feel like now that I'm strong enough and healthy enough to be having this type of conversation, it's on me, or I'm taking it on to myself to inspire. I want to inspire those with lived experiences like me to tell their story, whether that be through writing a memoir like I did, writing a play, stand-up comedy, art. There's so many, poetry. There's so many ways to get your story out there. But get your story out there, because it's healing for you and it's healing for the person reading it. And also, another thing that helped me into getting my story out there is the fact that as long as you are silent about what happened to you, you're protecting your abuser. And my abusers no longer deserve my protection. They never deserved my protection. My silence was protecting them. So that's why I'm talking about what happened to me, in hopes of inspiring other folks with this type of experience to tell their story. Another reason why I wrote my memoir is education. I have conversation with so many people about the foster care system, and they're like, oh, I had no idea. I had no idea. Wow. You know, and it's almost like the world's biggest secret at this point, because so many people are getting their information from movies and TV and basically Hollywood productions that were created for entertainment, not to educate anybody or improve the system. The only way you're going to really know about what's going on in child welfare as far as foster care and even adoption, whether that adoption be through foster care or through private agency, is by listening to those of us with lived experience. When is the last time you listened to an adult adoptee or a former foster youth? When is the last time you read a memoir by a former foster youth or an adoptee? Or are you just going by Annie and Different Strokes and I don't even remember the name of this movie with the football player that was adopted? Like, is that what you're going by? Just movies? If that's what you're going by, you don't have the whole story. You don't even have 1/8 of the story about what's going on. And some people are like, well, I don't know anybody adopted. I wasn't adopted. I wasn't in foster care. It doesn't affect me. But it does affect you. And if you are a voter, you take part in voting for initiatives and bills and everything else that affect those of us that were in care and people that are currently in care. Unfortunately, the way the system is set up, I don't think they're making a clear distinction between child care and child warehousing. Just saying, like, you know, I'm a millionaire. I have a 15-room mansion. I'm putting bunk beds in every room so I can handle 30 kids. Send them my way. Send me 30 kids because I think it'll be fun. It'll make me look like a hero. And everybody in the community will look up to me like, wow, 30 kids, that's amazing. Is anybody asking, are you providing childcare or just warehousing? Somebody should ask that question, because it's impossible to provide the type of care children in the system need if I have 30 just because I have enough rooms. Maybe I have enough beds. But am I checking in with them every day? How are you feeling? How are you doing? Are you missing your mom? Are you missing your siblings? Are you missing your dad? Are you missing your family, basically? If you're not equipped to take care of those emotional needs, to say, it's okay, I'm your safe person, you can talk to me, you can cry on this shoulder, it's fine, then you know you're warehousing. If you have more children than you can manage their emotional health, their mental health, if you are just saying, like, here's a t-shirt and a bologna sandwich, get out of my face, you are not providing child care. You are warehousing or even hoarding. For some reason, now on social media, it's a big thing to watch these people, to me, involved in child hoarding. We adopted one. It was so fun. It was so amazing. We got another one, and now we're up to 10, and we still want to adopt some more. And it's just kind of like, what? To me, that's just this out of line to even allow someone to warehouse or hoard children because they want another check or because they want the kudos from the system as well as their community. Like, my whole life, I heard people saying to my parents, oh, you're doing a God's work. You're doing a great job. How do you know that? Have you talked to the children in their care, air quotes, care? Or are you just assuming because it looks like they're doing something you would never even attempt, that they're doing this great job? How do you know? You don't know unless you talk to the children. And sadly enough, I know for me, the way my trust issues were, I probably wouldn't have told you nothing. Because it's like, who are you and what are you going to do about it? Probably nothing. And my life will be exactly the same. So whenever somebody tells me, Marika, I'm thinking about becoming a foster parent, I'm thinking about trying to adopt, my first question is why? And my ears are like satellite dishes, like do 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 do. I'm listening because I'm listening to see, are they child-centered or are they me-centered? So if they are me-centered, they're going to be talking about everything they're going to get out of the experience. So it's like, Marika, I'm thinking of fostering, I'm thinking of adopting. Then I'm like, why? And they're like, well, I always wanted a little kid and I would be so good at it and it would be a wonderful experience for me and it would be so fun because kids are great and, I'll get to teach them all the things, that are important to me. They'll be my sports sidekick, because we'll both be into football or, they'll be into music just like I am because I'm going to teach them that and instill in them how important music is. And I'm going to have a great time as a parent. And so everything is about me, 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 what I'm going to do, what I'm going to feel, and it's like, no, you are very me-centered and not child-centered. Like, do you know what maternal separation trauma is? Most of the time they're like, no, but it doesn't matter because when I'm there, they're going to just love me and it's going to be amazing. It's like, no, 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 no. Please do your research. Do an internet search and read everything you can about maternal separation trauma. Read everything you can about child trauma and how to respond and how not to respond to it. A lot of times when people do their research, they either decide they're not going to follow through with it, or they go into it with a whole different mindset, which is become child-centered. Meaning, why do I want to foster or adopt? Because I know there are children who need a safe place to live while their parents are getting their life together in order to get them back. And I want to provide that safe space. Or I know children are often sad and confused by not being able to be around their biological family, and I can teach them some coping skills and help them through this difficult time. That's what I'm listening for. Not, oh, I'm going to be so good at it and it's going to be so fun and we're going to, we're both going to be into Barbies and like, what? Like, like, don't do it. I've told people sometimes, don't do it. Don't. Because you're actually going to be adding trauma on top of their trauma. I'm like, don't do it. Just don't. Like, get a puppy. Actually, no, don't even get a puppy. Don't do that either. Everyone who knows me knows I'm an animal lover. I have owned my pet care business for almost 14 years. And yeah. People, before you get involved with children that are dealing with separation trauma, learn everything you can about trauma. Learn everything you can about how to respond to it. What type of behaviors will be showing up. I think a couple of Sundays ago we did have a conversation about maternal separation trauma, and I think the word is getting out there. I hope so. At least I'm doing my part to get it out there. I'm doing my part to let people know. Because as long as adoption is a multi-billion with a B industry, those who stand to profit from it don't want you to know about these types of traumas. They want you to be infected with Hallmark syndrome. They want you to think, oh, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry you weren't able to conceive and have your own baby, but that's okay. What kind of baby do you want? You want blonde? You want blue eyes, dimples? I mean, what do you want? You know, like you're ordering from a catalog, and they'll try to find you a close match and be like, okay, for $120,000, you know, just processing fees. We're not selling a baby, just processing fees. You can have your dream baby right here. And sadly, people are so desperate, they just write out the check, and then they go home and they're like, yay, this is what I've always wanted. And then it turns out to not be what they always wanted, because they don't know anything about maternal separation trauma and the fact that this baby is looking for the voice that they heard for 9 months. The voice that they listened to for 9 months, the person, they know how she moves, they know how she smells, they know everything about this person, and then you separate them and think everything is just supposed to work out fine as if you delivered. It's not the same. It's not the same. And what I've really been kind of leaning into to telling people is that if you get trauma informed, know everything there is about maternal separation trauma, and know what it means to be child-centered, you could have a good relationship with your foster child, adopted child, but it won't be what you fantasized about. It won't be that. And the quicker you get some healing around that, you know, get some grief counseling around your ideal not panning out, the better off everybody will be. But instead, we have people with the knee-jerk reaction. And I honestly think the knee-jerk reaction, when people start warehousing, you know, it's like couple, they went to college, they got their degrees, they got their dream job, they got married, so they found their soulmate. You know, life is perfect. Life is perfect for them. And then they're like, we're just missing our little bundle of joy, right? So they try, it doesn't work out. Then they go to fertility clinics. So that's already plan B. So plan A was, you know, get pregnant, start their family. Plan A didn't work. Now plan B, fertility clinics. Okay, that didn't work, and that's starting to cost a little bit of money too. Then that didn't work. Now they're going to go for plan C. Plan C is through a private adoption agency. That costs an arm and a leg, for real, to get, you know, their ideal order, basically. You know, we're looking for a little boy with chestnut brown hair and hazel eyes, whatever. They find out that is way above their budget. And I have actually seen people do GoFundMes to be able to afford that. Like, help us get a baby, you know, which is just horrifying to me. So that's already where are we at? Plan C. So then that doesn't work, and then they're like, well, we'll become foster parents first, and then we can maybe test drive a couple of kids and see. We'll test drive a couple of kids and see how that works. And if that doesn't work out for us, hopefully it will, but we'll find the one that's right for us, and then we'll adopt. That's plan D. By the time you get to me, you're at plan D. I'm not even your second, third, fourth. All of that disappointment, all of that sadness and sorrow and anger and all those emotions get poured into this plan D child, which is adoption through foster care. Now, to avoid those feelings, to avoid feeling angry, disappointed, let down, all of those feelings, there are some people that will adopt one and say, oh, that was such a great experience. But as time goes and they realize it's really not what they wanted, instead of dealing with that, they just get another one. We'll just get another one. And that's how you end up, I believe, with warehousing. Now we're up to 6. Now we're up to 10. Now we're up to 15. Trying to fill this void because we didn't get to have the children that we want to have. Thank you so much for the likes, Esther. And I think that is not doing anybody any favors. It's definitely not doing the children any favors. And it's not even doing the adoptive parents any favors to be trying to fill this void by just the next one, the next one, the next one. We'll get another one. We'll get another one. We'll get another one. It just doesn't work out for anybody involved. You know, and I believe they get to the end of that feeling even more depleted and more empty than the first one. And then where do all those feelings go? They go into the kid. Trust me, I speak from lived experience. I speak from lived experience. I was that kid that was adopted by an adoptive mother that had years and years and years of fertility issues, trying and trying and trying and trying, and it not working out. Like, I know what it is to be plan D and really, really feel the feeling of I'm not what you really wanted, but I'm going to try my best to be what you really wanted. Like, I know I'm not what you really wanted. But hopefully if I'm cute enough or smart enough or do everything exactly as you wish, it'll be worth it to you. Especially after hearing no one wanted you, but we did. So once you really absorb that nobody wanted me, but these people did, and even though I'm being abused and used and misused and all of that, well, at least they want me and no one else did. That was a lie. That was a lie. I think that narrative needs to get flushed down the toilet, because I don't think there's any kid that is just not wanted. You know, there's somebody that in their biological family that would have wanted them if they had known, or even if they had the support needed, you know, because I know for me, my aunt and uncle wanted me, my grandmother wanted me, but couldn't afford another mouth to feed. That's a big difference between nobody wanted you versus these people wanted you and just needed a little support. So there's a big difference between child care and child warehousing or hoarding. Anytime I hear of a foster parent having foster children in the double digits, we have 10, we have 11, we have 15. I'm like, like, seriously, like my alarm bells, red flags are just going up all over the place. And I do agree. I do believe that it depends on the age of the children as well as the age of the foster parents. But it's still like 12. Like, why? Oh, we just have so much love to give. You know, we have the space. So, yeah, we just want our house filled to capacity, filled to the brim with as many as possible. And it's like, why not just have like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 that you can really pour into, instead of just stacking as many as possible into your space? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, at all. It's very confusing. Now, if you have so much love to give, to me, put all that love into the 1 or 2 that you have, or 3. And now you can go online and watch You know, people are building online businesses with the children that they warehouse. And you know, some people have even told me like, "Oh, have you seen this family? They have 12 foster kids." Or, "Have you seen this family? They've adopted 15." And honestly, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Because if you're telling me that you have 12 foster children and you are able to check in with their mental health and emotional needs and be supportive of them when they are grieving the loss of their family, like all of them, I don't believe it. I'm like, you're in some weird denial. And it's my belief that if you have those high numbers, you should not even have a regular foster care license. To me, at that point, you should be going through some licensing to become a group home and have staff. Because if you are a single person, or even if you're a married, or not even married couple, 2-parent household, there's only so many hours in the day. How are you going to really check in with each child and tend to their emotional needs and their mental health needs, and help them with their trauma and help them navigating the world? Now, I have had some foster parents tell me, "Well, we can do 8 because I'm a stay-at-home mom, or I work from home." And as a pet care provider, I can tell you how many clients I have because they work from home and they're basically tied to their laptop in Zoom meetings and typing out reports, and they don't have time to take the dog for a walk. They don't have time to give the dog attention because they're at work. And I think the same would be true if you are fostering. That just because you are not stay at home, but just because you are a work from home parent doesn't now mean, okay, I can totally take care of six small children at a time because I work from home. How? How does that make sense? Somebody put in the chat how that makes sense. If it does to you. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. So warehousing is just having as many as possible, not meeting their emotional needs, not checking in with them, not being their anchor, their shoulder they can lean on, someone they can completely confide in, whereas child care is doing all those things. To say it's very normal that you miss your mom. It's very normal that you miss your dad. It's very normal. Of course you do. And I'm hoping that they are able to get it together so you can move back with them. But if they can't get it together, I will continue to be here for you. Either way. If they get it together, I'm going to celebrate with you. And if they don't, we will be going through it together. You're not alone in this. That is child care. That is caring for a child that is dealing with maternal or paternal separation trauma. Like I said, that's not the care that I got. I got, "What the hell is wrong with you? I'm doing all the work, and that whore doesn't deserve you." Not a good feeling. So I learned early on about masking. I learned how to mask early on, because anything other than I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine was unacceptable. So I learned to put that mask on real fast. "What's wrong with you?" "Nothing. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine." Because I already knew anything other than that, I knew what was going to happen. Sad? What are you sad for? I should be sad. I'm doing all the work around here, taking care of you. And you're sad? You got nothing to be sad about. You got a roof over your head. You got food in your belly. You got clothes on your back. You got nothing to be sad about. I'm the one that should be sad. Whatever the feeling is, I had no right to it. The only feeling I had a right to was, I'm fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. All is well. Everything is fine. That's it. What's wrong with you? Nothing. Okay, it better not be. What? It better not be? Like, my parents were warehousing, period. They were looking to make money and have staff. To have kids taking care of their needs and desires. Like, go make me a sandwich, go vacuum, go do something, go clean the kitchen, go do something. They needed staff. Run my bath water, wash my back, curl my hair. Like, wait a minute. You're supposed to be fostering to take care of a child, not have a child take care of you. And have as many as possible so you can be getting maximum pay. Warehousing. It's no good. And there's got to be a way for the system to weed that out. Like, I know when I first became a foster child, there were 3 questions. Let me see your proof of income so we know you're not using the foster care stipend to pay your bills and take care of yourself. 2, let me see your house. Let me see where the kid is going to be sleeping. Do you have enough space? 3, are you willing to take a first aid, CPR and first aid class once every 5 to 10 years? That was the criteria. End of story. And it has to be more to it than that. I know that the income verification paperwork that was turned in was falsified. It was not, it was fake. And, you know, the house was big enough for the number of kids they were hoping to bring in. And then the class, they didn't even take it seriously. They took the class because it was a requirement, first aid and CPR. But they didn't take it seriously. Because when they were out of the class and I said, oh, okay, so you know what to do in case of an emergency. And they're like, yeah, dial 911. Whoa, wait. Your whole class was dial 911? No. It's like, whatever. I know how to dial 911. That's scary. That is very scary for a child to hear after their parents take the CPR and first aid class that the thing they learned was dial 911. So to me, just having those 3 things as a criteria is not enough. You have to be able to really have social workers that can check in on a regular basis and not have caseloads that are so large it's impossible to check in on a regular basis and build a rapport with these children. The children know them, trust them, and believe that if something is wrong, they're going to do something about it. I know the social workers that I had with an S, plural, because I believe there was a new one probably every, I don't even know, 2 to 3 months, because the turnover is so great, or was so great. So I never really built a rapport with any of them. Like, to this day, I don't even really remember their names at all. I don't. If you are a person with lived experience, if you are a former foster youth or an adoptee, do you remember your social workers' names from when you were in care? I don't. I think I saw these people one time only. And that was when they were new to the case. And that was when they came to the house to introduce themselves to my parents. Not even me. Like, I remember trying to eavesdrop, like, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? As it was like, yes, I am your new social worker, and how are things going? Oh, wonderful. Okay. Nobody asked me how are things going. They asked them, because the view was these poor foster parents that are willing to house 6. That's amazing. They have such big hearts and they're doing God's work. They need all the support that they can get. That was the thinking. Not that these people were looking to make money and to have staff and getting their needs met. Something's really wrong with that. Like really, really wrong with that. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Marika Goolsby. I'm a former foster youth, meaning when I was a kid, I was in foster care, and adoptee. I was adopted out of the foster care system. I did write a book about my experiences in care. My memoir is entitled A Flower Called Orphan Girl, and it is available for pre-order. The link is in my bio. If you are having trouble finding the link, let me know. I will gladly send the link to you in a direct message. And yeah, I'm just 50 years old and finally strong enough to tell my story. Finally strong enough to stop protecting my abusers. Finally strong enough to attempt to make a difference in the lives of future children that are at risk for becoming in care or already in the system. And it has been a long road getting here. But I am grateful that I never gave up on myself, that I knew I deserved to live happy, whole, and free and complete, which is why I tried all sorts of different modalities of therapy and healing, and clearly it paid off. It paid off. And it warms my heart when I speak to other former foster youth and adoptees that are where I am right now, much younger, like in their 30s, in their 20s. I talked to a teenager, you know, she's 18 and she's just really starting her healing journey, but she's starting. Me at 18 was nowhere near starting a healing journey. I was still deeply in it. You know how they say you can't heal from an experience that you're still in. You're still living in the experience. You have to separate and allow some time and space to start the healing journey. A lot of times. Now, I have spoken to some adoptees that their adoptive parents are in support of their healing journey and are able to say, you know, there were things we didn't know or we didn't realize, and we're learning too, and we're healing too. And I think that's fantastic when that happens. But I don't think these are people that are warehousing children either. Most people that are like, oh wow, I'm you know, you learn better, you do better, usually are the ones that wanted to do childcare but just did the best they could with the information that they had. That's a possibility. So there's a difference, and there's a way to see the difference between childcare and child warehousing. We have to be able to see the difference and not allow warehousing. Like, all right, you already have two. Calm down. What are you doing with these two? What type of emotional support are you providing to these two? And then asking the children, do you feel loved? Do you feel cared for? Do you feel protected? Do you feel seen? Are you allowed to have a bad day? Are you allowed to be sad or angry about your biological family? Are you allowed your own autonomy? And not saying, well, I asked them one time, moving on. Ask them every time you see them so they know you really do want to know the answer to those questions and you really care. Because you can't just, a kid is not going to reveal their whole heart to a stranger. Period. They're not going to open up their whole heart to a complete stranger. So don't be a stranger. You know, like spend actual time with the children. If you are a social worker, CASA worker, case manager, teacher, yeah, take that time to build that rapport so you have some level of trust. And kids will kind of test it out to see, like, can I trust this person? Can I trust this person? I don't know. I'm going to give them this little bit of information and see what they do with it. Do they immediately call my foster parents and tell them, oh, she said this and this and this, and you better do something about that because she's spreading rumors and that could be damaging to your reputation? What? What? Are you serious? Like, I had friends that tested the waters, you know, with the teacher, you know, this happened, that happened. Immediately called the parents. Oh, she's a liar. She's making things up again. You know, she's traumatized, or she's, you know, how these kids are. They're defective. You know, they got problems. They're messed up in the head. So you can't believe anything they say. And immediately trust is gone. I'll never take a chance on you again in life. Period. So that's the problem with having a different social worker every 2 to 3 months, because you never get a chance to get to know somebody and build that rapport. And if you're a social worker and you've placed kids in the double digits in the same home, how are you getting to know them? How are you really getting to know all of them as individuals, to where they trust you and can confide in you and tell you what they're feeling and what exactly is going on? Now, I'll be the first to say things have changed since I was a foster child, because that was the late 70s, early 80s. I know that's a long time ago. And I know for a fact that California, San Francisco, that's where I was born and raised, has made some strides, but there's so much more to go. And it just really bugs me that the system is so different state to state. And even within states, county to county, can be very different. And I think we need more statewide mandates. We need more checks and balances that match. So I can't be in one state. Maybe I get my foster care license pulled because of, I don't know, abuse or neglect, and then I just move to another state and get a new license and start over. That shouldn't be allowed at all. You know, some people say as long as you're not, you know, a pedo and on a registry, you can just move to another state. Just move to another state, get a new license, and start the whole thing all over again and see how long you can go before you get caught. No. I mean, if there were statewide databases where as soon as someone applies to be a foster parent or an adoptive parent, you can look into the database and be like, wow, when you were over in XYZ state, your license got pulled for blah, blah, blah. So no, we're not interested in working with you. That's how it should go. And the only way that the system is going to change to stop child warehousing or hoarding and force people to lean into child care, trauma-informed, child-centered care, is by listening to those of us with lived experience like myself. Listening to adult adoptees, listening to former foster youth, because we are the experts because we lived it, survived it. A lot of us didn't survive it. And I dedicate my book to them, the ones that actually didn't survive it, because they were removed from biofamily and actually placed in a situation that was just as bad, if not worse. and something bad happened to them, and they didn't get to grow up all the way. They didn't get to grow into adulthood. Or even those that aged out and got kicked out onto the streets with no support. Oh, no stipend? See ya. You know, it's like warehousing. We're going to have as many as possible, but as they turn 18, you got to get out from under my roof because I'm not getting a check anymore. That's out of line. And I know California has extended that 18 to 21, but it's still messed up. Still messed up. When you see any person or couple having 8, 10, 12, 15 foster children, side eye. Side eye. Because I guarantee you the face that they present in the public is different from the face behind closed doors. I guarantee it. The face that they present in public is different from the face behind closed doors. If anybody that can hear my voice can relate to anything that I'm saying, please do comment in the chat and let me know. Let me know. Because we're talking about child care. Are you providing care, real, genuine care, or just warehousing? If you have, I don't know, warehousing can be different for different people. More children than you can provide care for, and then you know you're warehousing. More children than you can check in with to see how are you doing, how are you feeling. Checking in on their emotional state. It's a can of soda. Yeah. Then you are actually warehousing, aka hoarding. I've heard people say, you know, we only take in teenagers, and teenagers don't need a lot. They just need to be left alone. That's not true. That's not true. I worked at a group home for teen moms for 5 years. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I love the girls there. And I believe the ratio that we aspired to was 4-to-1, even though legally we could have had 6-to-1. And each resident was assigned a primary counselor, meaning this is the person that checks in with you. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you missing your family? How's everything going with your baby? Honors your special days, your birthday, your baby's birthday, like made sure your cultural holidays were acknowledged and celebrated. Your cultural traditions were honored and celebrated and not just ignored because you were in the group home. And if they hadn't lost funding, I probably would still be working there today. But I really loved that job, and I really loved those girls. Was it easy? No. If I wanted an easy job, I would just work at McDonald's or Starbucks or whatever. I wanted a job that gave meaning and gave back to the little person, you know, that I was that didn't get care. In my opinion, we provided care because our goal was to keep teen mom and baby together so she could finish high school and decide what she's going to do with the next phase of her life. Is she going to go to college? Is she going to go to trade school? Is she going to get a job and her own place and make sure that the daycare was set up and her therapy appointments were set up and just whatever they needed. That's what I loved about it. Whereas the foster care system generally is like, okay, you don't have everything you need in place. The parent, we're going to take the baby away from you. We're going to separate you get it together and hopefully in time to get your kid back. And I'm pretty sure those time limits is just added pressure and doesn't make it easier to get life together. And, you know, if someone's dealing with trauma, you know, if a mother or a father is dealing with trauma, 12 months a lot of time is not a lot of time. It's just not. So I guess, you know, what I'm really trying to bring home is, if you're going to work with children dealing with trauma, be child-centered, trauma-informed, and focused on child care, not warehousing. Don't try to get as many as you can get. Don't try to fill every corner of your house that you can squeeze a twin bed into to add another one. It doesn't make you a saint. It doesn't make you a martyr. It doesn't. That's another thing we have to get rid of. Like, someone told me that a lot of times people don't go into this with narcissistic tendencies, but they develop over time of hearing, oh my God, that's amazing. You're doing God's work. You're doing a great job. You know, and there's like, woo, 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 woo. That's something I hadn't considered before. I really thought that the way the system is set up, it's attracting narcissists. But the thought that it could be creating narcissists, that means that's just further proof that the system is flawed, that there's a problem, that we need to rethink this whole system. Now, do you think the system can be reformed, or do you think it needs to be just torn down and rebuilt? Put that in the chat. I'm curious. Also, put in the chat, is it really super crystal clear the difference between child care and child warehousing, aka hoarding? If you have any confusion around that, please do put it in the chat. My goal with going live every Sunday is to have dialogue, to have conversations with people. And I know this is kind of new, so a lot of people don't know about the lives, but I'm going to stick with it, and hopefully more people will join in this live to have a conversation about all things foster care, all things adoption, whether that be through foster care or private agency. That is my mission. Inspire, educate, prevent. Those are my three things. If you are a person with lived experience, are you in a place where you feel strong enough to tell your story? Are you in a place where you feel strong enough to educate someone? Because your story and your education will and can prevent future harm. Is that something that's valuable to you? So these are all the questions I would love for folks to answer in the chat. And just let me know. Let me know. Have you gotten your book on pre-order? Let me know, because like I said, the link is in my bio. It is a beautifully written book, if I do say so myself. I wrote it, and yeah, I put my whole heart and soul into it. My heart and soul on paper. It's my life story. So get your copy today if you can. Get your copy right now. Right now. Not now, but right now. Yeah. And if you are a foster parent or an adoptive parent or a legal guardianship parent or a kinship guardian, or fictive kinship guardian, I hope you are truly providing child care and not warehousing. And if you still don't know the difference after reaching this point in this live, put it in the chat. I would love to have a conversation with you. I would love to. Seriously. This is an important conversation to have. It's important that people know the difference between child care and child warehousing / hoarding. Don't hoard children just because you think it makes you look good. Don't hoard children just because, more the merrier, it's fun, or you feel like they're your income, because they should not be. Help as many children as you can and face reality that 15 ain't it. Because just providing a place to sleep and a little bit of food to eat is not necessarily child care. That's just a small little portion of it. Small portion. That's not the full picture at all. There's so much more to child care than just, there's your bed, there's your bologna sandwich, get out of my face. Yeah. So as soon as if I could just educate at least one person, I'd be happy. Of course, I hope to educate way more than that. But if one person can get that clarity from this live, I'll be happy. I'll be happy with that. So I will be checking the chat just to see how many folks engage with it, how many folks found it valuable, how many people were like, this is not something that I had thought of before, but now I'm thinking about it. I hope there's some parents that do a self-evaluation, like, am I providing real care or am I warehousing? Keep it real with yourself. Keep it real with yourself. Are you providing real, genuine care, or are you hoarding? Only you know the answer. Well, not even only you. You and the children in your care know the answer. Ask them. Check in with them. You know you can talk to me about anything, right? You know that I'm a safe person for you to feel sad around, happy around, whatever it is. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get through it. We're going to, very important topic, y'all. Very important topic. I got to turn into Whitney Houston on y'all. I believe the children are our future. And how are you treating the future? Are you providing care that's going to lead to a healthy, well-rounded, grounded adult or not? All right, so that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. I think I will end the live here. We've had a couple people come through, and I appreciate that. I don't see any comments in the chat currently, so I guess I'll end it here until next Sunday. I'm here every Sunday around 5. Sometimes I might be running late because I have a horrible relationship with time. But I do try to get here at least like 5 or 5:15, somewhere in there. Because I do work during the day. I'm a pet care provider. I've owned my business for January 1st will be 14 years as a pet care provider. And depending on how the work day goes, I may or may not be late. I'm working on that. I'm a work in progress. Let's see, what else do I need to let you all know? I do go live on TikTok daily, even though I only go live here on Sundays. I'm there daily, so if you are on that platform, look for me over there, Orphan Girl. If you want to join that space, that would be awesome. I actually have had 2 people from the Facebook Live join me over there, and that's been really cool. So I would love it if more people did. And definitely get your book order on. And I think that might be it for now. Yeah, I think that might be it for now. So I hope you all have a great rest of your night, and see you next Sunday, unless you join me over on TikTok like tomorrow, because I will be there tomorrow. All right. Bye.